Hello everyone and welcome to our Kickstarter. My name is Nigel. I am the co-founder of the manga brand mayamada, and you are checking out the latest story from our universe, Sirius Through the Fog. So I've been having conversations with people related to the story, and right now you're about to see one of the characters that is going to feature in the story. So I'm joined now by Lisa Stepanovic. Lisa, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Cool. Yeah, no, thank you for joining me. So before we get into it, I'm just going to remind people that our campaign is still going. So if you are watching this, then please do check out the campaign page and just encourage you after you check out this video to back the campaign, share it so we can bring the story to life. We can make it a reality. You can also share the campaign on social media. We are at mayamada on Twitter and at mayamadatees on Instagram. Alright, so yeah, now we're going to go into these questions. So Social Ark is a social enterprise that was set up to support other young people and their enterprises in 2015. And Lisa is the founder. So Lisa has helped mayamada set up our comic story workshops, as well as like countless other people. We've also sort of turned Lisa into a character and developed a story about Social Ark. So we turned Lisa and some of the other entrepreneurs into characters in the story that was about what Social Ark does. And Lisa's character is going to feature again in this new Sirius story. So what I wanted to get a sense of, just for people who don't know, is what is Social Ark and what was the thinking behind starting it?
So thank you, Nigel. Social Ark is an organisation that I wouldn't say we support young people. We've got some real brilliant gems, some real talented young people in our communities that actually were getting overlooked and sidestepped. And I think that Social Ark we're blessed to work with these brilliant young people and go on their journeys with them and teach them the skills and support them to actually lead their own social enterprises. I'm thinking about language a lot now, and I'm really steering away from languages like we nurture or we empower and stuff like that. So really, yeah, we work with brilliant young people who happen to be in and amongst under-resourced communities, and they're doing amazing work. So that's what we do. We work side by side with them and hopefully support them on their journey.
Yeah. I guess I shouldn't have said young people because I'm in that and I'm definitely no longer a young person, unfortunately. So you help people. So you say people in general. So yeah, in terms of like the types of projects that you support, types of enterprises, can you give us an idea of like what types of work is being done and that you've helped support? Because like there's a range of things going on.
So when we say young people, we're looking at 18 to 30-year-olds. And the sort of businesses and projects that we're interested in supporting are ones that are socially driven. So ones that have got a social conscience, people that want to do something good in their community, but also want to make a business out of it. So actually changing their lives, becoming self-employed, becoming business leaders, becoming entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, and doing socially good in our communities. So for example, if you've got lived experience of the criminal justice system and you want to set something up to address young people within the criminal justice system, we would say you're the best placed person to do that. Types of projects can include fitness programs, can include socially driven activities, a film club, like human rights programs. It's really is about using your own lived experience to package a business idea, and then go out there and serve the communities with it.
Cool. Yeah, and I think the idea for like the thing about social enterprise, like you say, is about how can you create a business that has a priority of serving the community that the business exists in, or a certain sort of group of people, or certain issue, or something like that.
Yeah, I think for years society's constantly put young people down and constantly thought they're not the best people to lead staff. Like what is their experience? They've got valuable lived experience, and it makes them the authority on the subject. And actually, with a little bit of support, some business skills, some real strong mentoring, and actually the hand holding along the way, always being that reliable person that they can come back to Social Ark. Like we've created the Social Ark family. Young people can come back to that, step in and step out, and just, carry on their journey, knowing that they've got a foundation of support there that they can rely on, and actually not just rely on, that they can trust. Yeah. We've had young people's journeys, and it's not plain sailing. Of course, the impact reports, right? It's all lovely, and you've got smiling faces, but behind actually lots of those smiling faces, there's lots of ups and downs along the way, and we are there to support and actually do that hand holding to make sure that the young person's not alone, and that they're fully supported, because we believe they're brilliant young people going to do this stuff, and I believe they're entitled to that support. Our communities should be supporting young people that want to go and lead change. I feel like as a community and as a society, we've got a duty to support them, because they're very special young people that are willing to do this.
No, I agree. And I think in the story You're Serious, that's the kind of thing that we wanted to get across, that you have these young people that aren't necessarily from, the biggest city or have the most resources, but have this goal, and then it's about how do they work together, how do they find people to help support them on this journey. So yeah, actually speaking of our comics, like I mentioned, we turned you and some of the Social Ark entrepreneurs into characters. What was that process like for you, like being turned into a manga character?
I can't say I've ever done it before. It was an absolute first for me. It was an absolute first for me. But, I loved it actually. And I think we were all quite shocked, because when we looked back at our characters, like you said to me, what character do you want to be, Lisa? And I was like, okay, Missy, my cat. And you actually made me look like Missy the cat.
So I'll just say,
colorings, I don't know how it happened.
Just to pause now, just to say, because I think a lot of people, we've turned a lot of people into characters, and sometimes people ask me, oh, what animal should I be? Because I work characters animals, but I always leave it to people. And I think you're not the first person who's put forward a pet or even a pet cat, but you're the first person where we've done sort of a mashup of the pet and the owner. So that was an interesting thing that you had.
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually, we got it there in the little,
to see my camera.
Yeah. There's Missy the cat. But it was great. It was a great experience. And it was really interesting to tell our story in such a way. And it managed, that external people understood it. Kids understood it. And the visuals were great, and it took you on a journey, and it was great. And I think some of the young people, when they really resonated with the characters that you made of them, I just loved it. I thought it was great.
Cool. Yeah, no, it's always a good process, to create characters. But when, in that case, when I knew the people that would turn into characters, so I can add little details in the story that are specific to them. So that was cool. And then for this particular story, for Serious Through the Fog, the idea is that, I guess the reason I wanted you to be in that story is in Through the Fog, the idea is that there is a pandemic that hits Blake Serious and his team right after they've kind of set up their business, and things are looking good. And all of a sudden, this thing that's so far out of your control just happens, and kind of shuts everything down. And it's a bit of sort of my own kind of, I guess, journey through this particular time in our lives, and just trying to get across that sense. But one of the key things, one of the things that we want people to focus on in the story is the idea that, it's not over, and there is still support from other people. And because you're someone that helps support people, I thought it made sense to include your character So I'm writing it at the moment, so I haven't got the exact thing of, the exact scenario of what you'll be doing, but hopefully you'll enjoy like providing some support to some of the mayamada characters in the story. Yeah. And so the other thing about the story is like pulling out these lessons and trying to help people focus on sort of positive outcomes. So for you, having also gone through sort of the pandemic and the fallout from that, is there anything that you personally have sort of learned from this period in time that you? Yes, I can. Yeah, yeah. Let's say one thing, because I know there's like probably like a bunch of things, but one thing that you pull out as like a lesson that you've learned as a result of what's been happening over the last few months.
It was really tough when the pandemic hit. I mean, it was tough for us at Social Ark. We'd really successful program. We started to, really work with young leaders. The pandemic hit. All of a sudden, everyone's lost their income overnight. Any income that they would do to get workshops that they'd gone to sell, services they were delivering, everything stopped. And it was like, wow, what do we do? And the same went for Social Ark, because we had sales in the pipeline for selling programs, selling team building workshops and stuff. Everything just stopped. And I really think it's a real working class thing, because we are so used to having to deal with chaos and crisis constantly and having to really think on our feet. We don't wait for checks to come in before we start moving. We just move and go with it, because that's what we've got used to doing. So it was just, but when COVID hit, it was like nothing ever before. But straight away, we went online. We were in a risky situation. Finance wasn't great. We were expecting funding to come in. It wasn't great, but we just kept on. And we tried to create like a support package for our young people. Like we set up a mutual aid fund. We set up different stuff. All the mentors really chipped in. And I would say the one thing that I would take away from it is don't underestimate the value of your social network. So the people that are supporting you, your allies, and they come from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds, chipping in, joining in and supporting you. So we had like a mentor that went in the middle of COVID, like the height of it, got in his car, went off and dropped off a laptop to one of our young people, because she never had a laptop. We've had people help with like food parcels. We had lots of different stuff going on that realistically it brought us closer together. And I'd say something I really learned from that was the power of our network. And I always knew it was special, and I always knew we were really, really blessed to have such brilliant people supporting us. But the way they just all jumped in to support our young people, it's more than money. It's the support they gave was priceless. And so, yeah, that to me was my big learning during that time. And I think another thing I learned was that don't sit and wait for it to happen.
Yeah.
Just, you call yourself a social entrepreneur. We're nurturing social entrepreneurs. What can we do? Let's think about what we've got and what we can do with what we've got, rather than what we haven't got. There was loads of buzzwords going around. There's funding here, funding there. It was like, right, we know our social network's great. We know we can shine a light on our mentors. We put a whole new social media strategy in that really pushed what we were doing. We put all our workshops online. We showed everybody what we were doing. And actually, by doing that, we had support reach out to us and say, how can we help you? Do you need some funding? Of course we did. Yeah. It was like, there's a couple of progressive funders out there. A big shout out to those guys, They reached out to support us, but they reached out to support us because they could see we were visible, that we were doing our stuff, and we was just cracking on. Yeah. And we were just cracking on with what we had, rather than sitting back and saying, oh, we can't do that because we haven't got any money, or we can't do that because of this situation. So yeah, I think it just cracked on, and it it showed that we are going to be there, whether we've got a tenner in the bank or 100 grand. We're still going to be doing the work. We're not going anywhere. We're dedicated to our young people and we're dedicated to our communities. And I think during COVID, that really shone and stood out for us. And we demonstrated that.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I think that's an important thing about it's not waiting, because even, and it's a difficult thing, at least like for me during this time, because like you say, like everything, like literally everything stopped. Everything stopped. And over like a weekend, like the workshops, I was in the middle of a workshop program and it stopped, and the ones that were coming stopped, and then we were going to do a gamepad event and that stopped. But, even like with gamepad, we sort of adapted to an online version, and that's something where, even though it's still difficult and it is still difficult to move through this time, like I think back and like, if I didn't do that, if I waited for someone to suggest that to me or something, then all the opportunities that have come, as a result of the first one, and we're working on the second one, will be nowhere, because I'll just be like, oh, I've got nothing, it's over kind of thing. So yeah, I definitely get don't wait and sort of keep pushing, even though it is a difficult thing. So I mean, like, even I think that's something I need to, like, that's the kind of thing I need to include in this story about young people, or just anyone with an enterprise, a goal. When you have that, a massive obstacle, like, how do you continue going? So, like, I guess my last thing is that, obviously you don't know the story yet, but just given the situation that the characters in Sirius are in, like, how would you help Blake Sirius, given that his business is shaken, and your character comes along? How would you want to help Blake Sirius and his team?
I'd tell Blake, get in the weekly workshops with Social Ark. Make sure you're attending. Let's help you get your stuff together. We know you're great. We know you're fantastic. We only work with great and fantastic, brilliant young people. So come and join us. Take advantage of all our learning that we open up. Take advantage of the mentoring that we provide. And also, character, he's driven by his values. He wants to do something fantastic. So yeah, just come and surround yourself with people that share your values and your visions and your belief. And actually, surround yourself with those people. And you'll get through it. And even if you've got challenges, even if he has challenges, and even if you can't cope, a problem shared. You're stronger together. You're stronger if you share your problems out. And it's not such a problem, is it? When sometimes young people ring me up and, I've done it myself in the past, think a problem is bigger than what it is. And actually, when you can talk it through with somebody outside and they can help put certain things in place, it's not so bad. So I'd tell him, get in and join Social Ark, because that's what you need. Absolutely.
All right. I'll pass that message on to him.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, no, thank you for joining me. It's been, good to hear about kind of, the work you've been doing and giving people an insight into your character that's going to appear in this story.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, Nigel. It's been brilliant. Thank you.
Cool. So like I said, at the top, if you're watching this, we do have a Kickstarter, going on for our latest manga, Sirius Through the Fog, which is inspired, for lack of a better word, by the pandemic, and it's a story that is helping young people and just anyone who's going through something try and focus on the positive messages and positive outcomes and lessons that can be learned even in a time like this. So yeah, please check that out. Help us bring this story to life. There are also a bunch of rewards, like the finished comic, obviously, in print and digital editions. We've also got the chance for you to be turned into a character in the story, as well as exclusive artwork and things like that. So yeah, give that a listen, or give that a watch, and you can reach out to us through the Kickstarter, on email, hello@mayamada.com. And you can also find us on social media. We are at @mayamada on Twitter, @mayamadatees on Instagram. And yeah, we look forward to having you on this journey, and hopefully reading this latest comic for the Mayamada universe. So until next time, take care everyone, and yeah, please continue to stay safe.